Hi, I'm Shad with Kitchen Design, and I'm excited to share with you my opinions today on the 2025 kitchen trends. Let's see if you agree with me on some of my theories, because some of the things I'm going to disagree with from this trend, and some I'm going to agree with. So, I handpicked the items out of this report. The report is about 4 times the size of what I've picked out, and I'm not even going to hit all of the content that I've got in here, but I am going to highlight some of the things and share with you some of my opinions. I want to emphasize the importance of the functionality first. Always, a kitchen should be functional before it is aesthetically pleasing, because you can have aesthetics and have a terrible function kitchen, right? We're actually going to talk a little bit about how that concept is actually influencing one major portion of a kitchen towards the end of this presentation. In other words, for the first time in a long time I can think of, aesthetics is dictating one gigantic feature of a kitchen. So hang 10, like the subscribe button so that at least in the future, as I release these opinions and I share with you different advice and ideas, you can know when I release a video. Okay. So obviously, functionality over personalized touch. Sorry, with a personalized touch, yes. Always make sure you have a personalized touch, and layout is the most important thing. All right, let's keep going here. All right, smart technology. Here's the thing. uh, you can't get away from it unless you're going to live off the grid, right? Wi-Fi, voice activation, AI is going to have a gigantic influence on the kitchen eventually. Just imagine when you go to put the turkey in the oven, and the oven tells you what it should cook at, how many people you're having over for dinner, or maybe it already knows because it looked at your schedule and how many people you invited. I mean, there's some crazy things I think that are coming down the pike. Lighting, yeah, definitely the trends are, LED is just gigantically changed our industry, of course, the last 10, 15, 20 years. But, excuse me, but the ability to create mood with temperature, with, the light setting, the brightness of the lights, the placement of the lights. You've been able to pick which lights turn on and off, right? Accent and um, ambient lighting, and then certainly, of course, task lighting as well. And if you want to know more, I don't think I've quite got a video dedicated just to lighting yet, but I will have one of those. Connecting with nature. This is a big draw, and it's just been a big wave for a long time. Earth tones toward the bottom, 1970s, right? To make a comeback. Totally agree. Now, I'm not so sure I'm going looking for harvest gold or olive or mustard yellow, but they're coming back, guys. The materials, and most importantly, the color. Okay, open space, mix and match. Okay, really quick. I don't think this is going to go away anytime soon. You might have a kitchen that might be one color or one design or one flavor, but where's the hutch, like in this picture, or the island, or the cooking area, or the pantry area, or a bookcase, or a credenza, or the list goes on and on. Basically, designated spaces for designated purposes open up and introduce the opportunity to make a change, right? There's nothing wrong with that at all. It's a great move. Okay, there's a lot of content here. You have access to this. By the way, this report is like a almost a $3,000 report for you, the public. So I'm giving this to you, just some snippets, some highlights for free. As long as I acknowledge that this is NKBA and KBIS's report, I am a member of the NKBA, and so they've given me permission to share this report with you. I just want to emphasize a couple things here. Number one, 77% of designers feel the manufacturers are behind trends. So I'm taking the antithesis of this number here, right? That's been the case for a long time. It has to be, because really consumers drive trends, right? They drive them with designers, they drive them with manufacturers, they drive them with contractors. However, I believe that this could change in the next couple of years due to AI, because AI might be able to predict trends. And of course, consumers are feeding the internet with questions and ideas and suggestions and pictures. And it's possible that it's at some point in the near future, this could flip to where the majority of trends manufacturers are actually ahead of the curve on. That would be kind of cool, I think. So, all right. So, kitchens are definitely the heart of the home. There's so many things that happen in the kitchen. You have that for your reference. Okay. Layout is always number one. As far as your dream kitchen, first you got to worry about The focus is having a good layout. That's the case, in my opinion, no matter what size the kitchen is. Okay. Here's some other references for you as well. Design and style. So, in other words, we need to function well, and then we want it to look good, right? Straightforward there. Also, one of the key driving factors to luxury kitchens is appliances. And that's a very interesting to me because appliances is only about, on a kitchen remodel, about 11% of your project. On new construction, I think it's just a little bit more, like 12%. But this is going to push that up. It's going to push that dollar amount, that investment amount higher, in my opinion, if we give that much emphasis to it. But there's some place for it. People want color over white. The challenge is the last 60 years, 80 years, white has been the dominant. It's neutral, white, grays, blacks, stainless steel, right? They're all neutral colors. It's not going to go away 100%, but I think we're going to see a substantial jump. The cost of painted cabinetry and backsplash tile and colored fixtures and so forth. I think it's going to drive a pretty big jump in the actual amount of color being done in kitchens. And here's your colors, okay? Greens, blues, browns, whites. So you see white, gray, black in the middle because those are neutral, right? But green and blue, they're strong. My encouragement is, if you're going to go crazy and go extreme, fine, go for it. Just realize that your resale value drops quite a bit. You're down to a sliver of the community that will love what you do. But if you want to do it, go for it, right? But if you want to be a little more neutral, then bring neutrals, bring those color tones into more of a neutral space, right? Bring a lot more gray into the green, or take the white and tint it, go light greens, or bring some black and shade it, darken it, or even go opposite color to bring it closer to browns. So those are some ideas. I could have a lot of fun with this. If you have questions, by the way, drop them in the comments. I will answer them personally. I love sharing advice and ideas, guys. I'm in my 31st year of kitchen design. I really love the industry. It's just a blast. This is saying 50s and 70s are both going to be hitting that the return of color, and I think there might be some other trends that come back from those spaces as well. Beverage areas, you look at all the spaces you can do beverage areas, whether it be in secondary kitchens, downstairs kitchens, in a master bathroom, or a credenza area around a fireplace, perhaps. I mean, there's so many places in which people think instead of having to walk across the house or upstairs or downstairs to go to the kitchen to get something, I want something a little bit easier access, right? All right, this kind of goes back to the other one. Manufacturers are not keeping pace with designer creativity. Again, I think that's a very strong possibility that could flip and change. Okay. All right, homeowners, larger islands. Now, there are some problems that come with larger islands. You got to find a slab. You got to make sure that the slab fits if you want it to go for the whole thing, or have a seam, right? Or you got to jump and change your materials elevation in order to not have a seam. You've got to have the walkway space around it. You got to have the room in your kitchen or living area, walkway area, dining area to be able to get around that larger island. And then, of course, it's got to be functional. You got to be able to set things on there and reach and access the space, even just for cleaning. So, just of course, it has its place. And I've done some pretty large islands, designed, spec'd, or consulted regarding that. But just keep it in mind. All right. All right. So here's just that kind of the big reveal I wanted to share with you. But what I think, for the first time that I've seen a significant change in kitchens due to aesthetics, and that is this: people don't want to have the dirty stuff in the kitchen. So they literally want to conceal their functional or dirty, or I mentioned these earlier, but they want to conceal where they're actually working behind the artistic kitchen. They want the beautiful kitchen that they don't use, perhaps, that just has um, charm and attraction for the neighbors, and the show offness to it. And then they want to have the dirty stuff that they have to remodel every 10 to 15 years behind that, in a butler's kitchen, or however you want to refer to it as. Kind of fascinating. It's only going to be in the luxury space because basically you're having two kitchens, right, in one space versus one. Um, all right, kitchen features and improved usability. Cabinets. I like the second part of this, where cabinets, they want better storage, dividers and partitions. One suggestion for you, by the way, when you're designing your kitchen, as a part of the kitchen planning, before you finalize anything, take your elevations and write on the elevations what you think you're going to store in that cabinet. Okay. And then you can maybe decide based on that whether or not you need any interior accessories or features, or plan for it later, but at least you've allotted the space to be suitable for that accessory. Okay. But certainly, you know, interior storage accessories are important. All right, why don't? All right, guys. Here's where I'm going to disagree. I should have kind of used this as something a big shocker for you. 59%. Okay, I do believe that the first quarter and maybe the second quarter this year, that white oak is still going to be dominant in the whole across the board spaces. Luxury, middle class and entry level projects. But by the end of the year, guys, I believe we're going to see cherry, hickory, red oak, actually, walnut for sure, and maple, and then of course painted finishes and textured laminates and veneers are going to surge in demand, and the more expensive ones, of course, are going to surge first because they're harder to get for the rest of the marketplace. Sanitary, we want easy to clean surfaces. We want to have the backsplash and the countertop all in one. That's not going to go away. I totally agree with that. Now, kitchen countertops. Do you want your island and the rest of your kitchen to match? 50-50. Honestly, since, I don't know, probably 20 years, this has been the case with me with my clients. Maybe even more than that. Um, it's totally preference. There is some, maybe you want a butcher block island for genuine preparation, cooking preparation, and you want quartz or granite for the rest. There are some applications like that where just for simply functionality purposes, and then sometimes there's simply color or pattern value for doing that. But other than that, it's a lot of personal preference. Okay, tile. I have a video about tile backsplashes. I'll put the link in here if I forget. You remind me. Say something in the comments, and I'll be sure to toss it in the description. But listen, backsplashes are such a great place to introduce color, right? Backsplashes are one of the few places in the kitchen where its primary purpose is a little bit more aesthetic than it is functional. Because once you get up a few inches, maybe 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, you're not as worried about splashing per se, maybe immediately around the range, but any other area of the kitchen, it's not a big deal. You're not going to get a ton of splashes. At that point, it becomes an aesthetic support piece to the rest of the kitchen. Okay. Are you liking what I'm sharing with you? Do you agree, disagree? If you do, please share your thoughts and comments, especially for you who are in the trade. I interact with a lot of you in a lot of different settings, and I'll be at KBIS, of course. But anyway, give me your thoughts. Let me know what you think. All right, durable. We don't want joints that are easy for junk to catch in, right? In flooring. Um, so absolutely. Now I've got to stop and mention here. Blending seamlessly. Please don't misunderstand. Flooring is not meant to blend with the cabinets, and I have a video just about that. I'll try to remember to put that link in the description as well. But please do not match your cabinets to your flooring. Um, Watch my video for more details. Okay. All right. Dishwashers, absolutely. We talked about technology influencing the use of dishwashers. Now, let me stop for just this moment here and say I am surprised there are not more manufacturers yet. It could be a patent issue, and that's okay. There was one manufacturer who jumped in from the original manufacturer or patent uh, holder of the two dish drawer system. I own dish drawers. I've had two different sets. I've also owned plenty of other really good quality dishwashers with the standard door. And guys, I take the double drawers over the standard door every day. So I actually have a short video about this. I'll try to remember to put a link in there for that as well. And I describe it very simply for you. But for functionality, time saving sake, and flexibility sake, drawers are the way to go. So there's just no other option, at least from what I've seen in the marketplace. I'm going to tell you, there's a manufacturer right now that is touting this big time that you can put anything anywhere in the fridge and not worry about it. They have a really good argument. So I know I'm probably going to get a few people upset with me, especially if you're a manufacturer's rep of a company that dictates that you should have, crispers and humidity controlled drawers and so forth. I'm just telling you what I know about the industry and the training that I've received, just to be aware. Okay. All right. Next, cooking appliances, efficient and multifunctional. I'm going to say, of course, on the efficient. Multifunctional though, lots of cooking options nowadays, right? Steam, electric, induction, gas, convection. The list goes on and on. If that's the case, yeah, you want some diversity in your cooking options. This is not a whole lot different than it's been for a long time. Splitting up your oven and cooktop, there's a few factors. Number one, cost, of course, is always a factor. How you use the kitchen's a factor, right? And then space. If you don't have enough space to split those up, doesn't make sense. And if you have a bad lower back and you have the space and you got the money, it's a no-brainer to go with a breaking up the cooktop and oven, especially if you have more than one person who helps prepare meals or clean up or cook in the kitchen. Then that's a no-brainer. Okay, we can talk more about that. And please, if you have questions or you're wondering about your situation, plop them in the comments. I'll give you some thoughts. Okay, air fryers, induction ovens, gaining popularity, huge. Totally agree. This says, by the way, induction ovens. I'm not familiar with induction ovens. I'm not saying that I should know everything, but induction cooktops, I think that's what they meant. So I don't see anything under the cooking features here saying induction. However, it does say it under cooktop, so I think that might be a typo. Ventilation hoods, decorative and functional, wood, mixed material, stainless steel. I'm going to say stainless steel mixed materials more than wood. Wood, I think, has already rode its wave. I think we're going to see that slowly start to disappear. And there's a lot of reasons for that. I'm not going to go into the depth here because I did not want to make this video extraordinarily long for you, okay? But I wanted to give you some ideas. All right, workstation on sinks. Big time, guys, workstations basically is taking one item in the kitchen, which is one third of the entire purpose of the kitchen, which is cleaning, right? And it's giving it multiple features or facets or elements to make that more productive. So I would highly encourage to consider that. Whether you have your colanders or your cutting boards, your drain, baskets, or, drains for like your cups when just after you get a drink. Great feature. All right, jumped ahead quick there on faucets. I'm going to disagree with this. When you get to large kitchens, your faucet becomes less visible, so it has less visual element value to it. So on the smaller kitchens, absolutely. Lighting, different moods. We talked about LED. All right, usability. It improves the safety and the ability for you to see what you're doing. So yeah, usability, sure, I'll go with that. But definitely a strong desire and, of course, an expected trend to continue on. Popular fixtures, under cabinet lights, interior cabinet lights. Keep an eye on the interior cabinet lighting, guys. I think you're going to start to see cabinet companies making that a standard protocol, whether it be motion activated, or voice activated. But I think it's going to make it so you can see inside those dark drawers and underneath, those roll-out shelves a lot easier than you do now. We'll talk about that one. All right, this is interesting to me. So the client life stage, typically homeowners with families and then empty nesters. Now, take a look at some numbers here. Add up the percentages for older families, which are getting close to retiring and empty nesters. Then look at empty nesters, retired and active mature singles. For those that are aged or aging in place, we're talking, I think I added that up, and I think I ended up being about 71% of the clientele. Now, by the way, I don't. This is not 100% between all of them. By the way, there's a lot of overlap in this, but for what it's referencing here, and I can't quite give you an accurate description there, but there's a lion's share of that by far that is a factor for older users, right? Now, I just wanted to highlight really quickly. I'm a designer. I'm male. Obviously, I'm 51 years old. I'm a member of the NKBA in the U.S. Southwest. So that gives you an idea of where I fit into the respondent factors here. And then here's just a little bit of a purpose for the report. So look, guys, if you like what you're watching, you like what I'm doing here, you know what to do. Thanks so much. Come back for more. Appreciate you.